Have you ever found yourself walking into a room and completely forgetting why you went in there? Or maybe you've been searching for a word that's just on the tip of your tongue, but it simply won't quite come out. No matter how hard you try, it can be frustrating, even a little scary, to notice these subtle slips. We often dismiss them as just getting older, a natural part of life. But what if some of the delicious, comforting foods we've always enjoyed are actually playing a silent, hidden role in how our brains age? It's a tough truth to face, especially when these foods are part of our routines, our celebrations, even our sense of comfort. We've grown up with them, and they feel familiar and safe. But understanding this secret, this quiet influence on your brain, is the first crucial step toward protecting that incredible organ, your brain, the one that has carried you through a lifetime of memories, experiences, and wisdom. In this video, we're going to uncover 6 surprising foods, many of them everyday favorites, that can quietly undermine your brain health after 60, and more importantly, what you can do about it to keep your mind sharp and clear. Make sure you watch all the way to the end, because there's one particular food on this list that truly surprises most people, and avoiding it might be simpler than you think. Let's dive right into our first quiet culprit. One that might seem obvious to some, but its insidious nature is often underestimated: sugary drinks and the hidden sugars lurking in so many processed foods. Think about your morning coffee with 3 teaspoons of sugar, that fizzy soda you enjoy with lunch, or even seemingly healthy fruit juices that are essentially sugar water. These aren't just empty calories. They're a direct assault on your brain. When you consume large amounts of sugar, your blood sugar levels spike rapidly. This creates a wave of inflammation throughout your body, and your brain is certainly not immune. Over time, chronic inflammation can damage the delicate blood vessels that supply your brain with vital nutrients and oxygen. It's like a slow, constant drizzle of acid on your brain cells, eroding their function and communication. But it's more than just inflammation. High sugar intake, especially from fructose corn syrup found in so many processed foods, can lead to insulin resistance, not just in your body, but in your brain too. This means your brain cells struggle to use glucose for energy, essentially starving them, even when there's plenty of sugar around. The hippocampus, the part of your brain crucial for memory and learning, is particularly vulnerable to this. Imagine trying to work or think clearly when your brain isn't getting the fuel it needs. That's what's happening. You might notice more frequent memory lapses, difficulty focusing, or just a general mental fog. It's not just about forgetting where your keys are. It's about the underlying machinery of your mind starting to falter. Now, you might be thinking, but I don't drink a lot of soda. The challenge is that sugar hides in plain sight, in everything from breakfast cereals and yogurt to salad dressings and pasta sauces. The actionable step here is to become a label reader. Look for added sugars or ingredients like high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, or maltose. Start small. Replace 1 sugary drink a day with water or unsweetened tea. Instead of a bowl of sugary cereal, try plain oatmeal with a handful of fresh berries for natural sweetness. When you reduce your sugar intake, you'll be amazed at how quickly your taste buds adapt, and you'll start to appreciate the subtle, natural sweetness in real foods. It's a powerful change that your brain will thank you for. Moving on from the sweet, let's talk about something crunchy and often comforting: deep-fried foods and trans fats. Who doesn't love a good plate of crispy fries, a piece of fried chicken, or some of those delightful donuts? The problem isn't just the occasional indulgence. It's the cumulative effect of these foods on your delicate brain. When foods are deep-fried, especially in unhealthy oils, they undergo chemical changes that create harmful compounds called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs for short. These AGEs contribute significantly to oxidative stress and inflammation throughout your body, including your brain. Think of oxidative stress as rust forming on the intricate wires and connections within your brain. It impedes their function and can lead to damage over time. But the real villain here often lurking within those crispy textures, are trans fats. While some trans fats occur naturally in animal products, the vast majority we consume are artificially created through a process called hydrogenation, turning liquid vegetable oils into solid fats to improve shelf life and texture. These artificial trans fats are found in many processed foods, like packaged baked goods, snack crackers, margarine, and of course, much of what comes out of a deep fryer at fast food restaurants. Your body, and especially your brain, struggles to process these unnatural fats. They disrupt cell membrane function, which is critical for brain cell communication. Imagine trying to have a clear conversation with someone who keeps cutting out. That's what happens at a cellular level in your brain with trans fats. Studies have consistently linked diets high in trans fats to an increased risk of cognitive decline, memory impairment, and even a greater risk of developing dementia. They promote inflammation, damage blood vessels, and can reduce the volume of the brain, particularly in areas responsible for memory. The good news is that many countries and regions have banned or severely restricted trans fats, but they can still sneak into our diets. The actionable advice here is to cook more at home, where you control the oils you use. Opt for baking, grilling, or air frying instead of deep frying. When you're at the grocery store, carefully check food labels for partially hydrogenated oils. That's your red flag for artificial trans fats. Instead, choose healthy fats like extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, and the fats found naturally in nuts, seeds, and fatty fish. Your brain needs healthy fats to thrive, so make a conscious effort to swap the bad for the good. Now that we've shed some light on the sugary and fried temptations that can quietly impact our brain health, let's turn our attention to another common group of foods that might be taking a subtle toll: refined grains and white carbohydrates. We're talking about things like white bread, white rice, many pastas, pastries, and those highly processed breakfast cereals that don't even resemble their original grain. These foods are often stripped of their most valuable components, the fiber, vitamins, and minerals, during processing, leaving behind what are essentially just rapidly digestible starches. When you eat these refined carbs, your body quickly converts them into glucose, causing a rapid surge in blood sugar. Similar to what happens with sugary drinks, this constant roller coaster of blood sugar spikes and crashes is incredibly taxing on your system, and especially on your brain. Just like with added sugars, these frequent spikes contribute to chronic inflammation, damaging the delicate blood vessels that supply your brain. Over time, this can impair blood flow to the brain, meaning your brain isn't getting all the oxygen and nutrients it needs to function optimally. Imagine trying to run a marathon on an inconsistent fuel supply. Your brain is doing something similar, trying to maintain its complex functions. This can manifest as brain fog, difficulty concentrating, and even an increased risk of cognitive decline. These foods are empty calories because they fill you up without providing the sustained nourishment your brain truly needs to stay sharp. The actionable step here is to embrace whole grains. Make the switch from white bread to 100% whole wheat bread. Choose brown rice or quinoa instead of white rice, and opt for whole grain pasta. Look for cereals that are high in fiber and low in added sugar. These whole grain alternatives release glucose more slowly into your bloodstream, providing a steady and consistent energy supply for your brain, preventing those damaging spikes. They also come packed with beneficial fiber and nutrients that support overall health, including gut health, which we now know plays a significant role in brain function. It's a simple swap, but the cumulative benefits for your mental clarity and long-term brain health can be profound. Your brain thrives on stable energy, not wild fluctuations. Next on our list are foods that many of us enjoy for breakfast, lunch, or a quick snack: processed meats. We're talking about bacon, sausages, hot dogs, deli meats like ham and turkey slices, and even jerky. While they might be convenient and tasty, the way these meats are processed and preserved introduces several compounds that can be detrimental to your brain health, especially as you age. One of the main culprits here are nitrates and nitrites, which are used as preservatives to extend shelf life and enhance color. When these compounds interact with proteins in your body, they can form nitrosamines, which have been linked to an increased risk of various health issues, including potentially adverse effects on the brain. Some studies suggest a connection between high consumption of processed meats and a greater risk of neurodegenerative diseases. Beyond the preservatives, processed meats are typically very high in sodium and saturated fats. Excessive sodium intake contributes to high blood pressure, or hypertension, which is a significant risk factor for cognitive decline, stroke, and vascular dementia. High blood pressure narrows and hardens the arteries, reducing the flow of oxygen and nutrient-rich blood to your brain. And while some saturated fat is necessary, the excessive amounts found in processed meats, especially when consumed regularly, can contribute to inflammation and cholesterol buildup, further impacting the delicate blood vessels that feed your brain. Think of your brain's blood supply as a finely tuned irrigation system. Processed meats can clog the pipes. So, what's the actionable advice? It's not about complete deprivation, but about mindful choices. Limit your intake of processed meats to an occasional treat rather than a daily staple. When you do choose them, look for lower sodium versions or those labeled nitrate-free or uncured, though these may still contain naturally occurring nitrates. More importantly, prioritize fresh, lean protein sources like baked chicken, grilled fish, beans, lentils, and eggs. These alternatives provide essential nutrients without the baggage of harmful preservatives and excessive sodium. Making these switches can help protect your cardiovascular system, which in turn protects your brain, ensuring a steady, healthy blood flow to keep your mind sharp and agile. We're nearing the end of our list, but these next two are equally important, and perhaps the last one is the most surprising of all. Let's talk about artificial sweeteners. Many of us turn to diet sodas, sugar-free snacks, or sugar-free gum thinking we're making a healthier choice than consuming sugar. The logic seems sound: 0 calories, no blood sugar spike, so it must be better. Right. Unfortunately, the science is showing us that it's far more complex, and artificial sweeteners can quietly pose their own unique risks to your brain. While they don't contain sugar, they can still confuse your body and your brain. When you taste something sweet, your body prepares for a sugar rush, releasing insulin. But when no actual sugar arrives, this can disrupt your metabolic processes over time and may even contribute to insulin resistance. Similar to what actual sugar does, your body struggles to know what to do, but the impact goes beyond metabolism. Emerging research suggests that artificial sweeteners can negatively alter your gut microbiome, the vast community of bacteria living in your intestines. This might not sound like a brain issue, but there's a strong and growing understanding of the gut-brain axis, a direct communication pathway between your gut and your brain. An imbalanced gut microbiome can lead to inflammation and produce compounds that negatively affect brain function, mood, and even contribute to anxiety and depression. Additionally, some studies indicate that regular consumption of artificial sweeteners might increase cravings for truly sweet foods, making it harder to break free from the cycle of seeking out sugary or artificially sweet flavors. It's like tricking your brain, and it doesn't appreciate the deception. The actionable steps here involve gradually reducing your reliance on artificial sweeteners. Start by diluting your diet soda with sparkling water, or swapping it for plain water infused with slices of lemon, lime, or cucumber. If you're used to sweetening your coffee or tea, try reducing the amount of artificial sweetener you use each week, or switch to a tiny bit of natural alternatives like a drizzle of honey, maple syrup, or a dash of cinnamon, in moderation. Of course, the goal is to retrain your palate to appreciate less intense sweetness and the natural flavors of whole foods. You might be surprised at how quickly your taste buds adapt and how much more vibrant real food tastes once you've stepped away from artificial sweetness. And finally, the sixth food category: The one that surprises many because it's so common in nearly everything we eat: excessive salt. Or more accurately, sodium-heavy processed foods. We're not talking about the pinch of salt you add to your home-cooked meal, but the hidden, pervasive amounts of sodium found in chips, crackers, canned soups, frozen meals, deli meats, which we already discussed, condiments, and virtually all restaurant foods. This is the quiet orchestrator of a serious problem for your brain, often working behind the scenes. The primary way excessive sodium damages your brain is by directly contributing to high blood pressure, also known as hypertension. High blood pressure is a major risk factor for cognitive decline, dementia, and stroke. When your blood pressure is consistently too high, it puts immense strain on your arteries, including the tiny, delicate blood vessels in your brain. Over time, these vessels can become stiff, narrowed, or even damaged, reducing the vital flow of oxygen and nutrients to your brain cells. Imagine a garden hose with too much pressure. The hose eventually weakens and delivers water inefficiently. Your brain relies on a steady, uninterrupted supply of blood to function, to think clearly, to recall memories, and to process information. When that supply is compromised, cognitive function suffers. Furthermore, high sodium intake can also contribute to inflammation and oxidative stress, further eroding brain health. It's a silent, cumulative effect that can chip away at your mental sharpness over decades. The actionable steps to reduce excessive sodium are incredibly impactful. The most significant change you can make is to cook more meals at home from scratch, allowing you to control exactly how much salt goes into your food. When you do buy packaged foods, become a meticulous label reader. Compare sodium content between different brands of the same product. Look for low sodium or no added salt versions of canned goods and broths. A simple trick for canned vegetables is to rinse them thoroughly before cooking to wash away some of the added salt. Instead of relying on salt for flavor, explore the incredible world of herbs, spices, garlic, onion, and citrus. These natural flavor enhancers can transform your meals without the detrimental effects of excessive sodium. Reducing your salt intake isn't just good for your heart, it's a powerful protective measure for your precious brain, preserving its function and vitality for years to come. So, there you have it: 6 common foods, sugary drinks and hidden sugars, deep-fried delights and trans fats, refined grains and white carbs, processed meats, artificial sweeteners, and excessive salt in processed foods that can quietly and subtly impact your brain health after 60. It's not about being perfect and never touching these foods again. That's unrealistic and unnecessary. But it is about being aware, understanding the quiet influence these seemingly innocent items can have, and making conscious choices that support your incredible brain. Every small, consistent improvement you make to your diet is a win for your mental clarity, your memory, and your overall well-being. Think of each healthy swap as a loving investment in your future self. Remember, your brain is an incredible, adaptable organ, capable of so much. By nourishing it wisely, you're not just protecting your memories, you're investing in a future filled with clarity, vitality, and joy. I'd love to hear from you. Have you noticed any differences in your memory or focus when you change your diet? Or perhaps you have a favorite brain-boosting recipe or a clever trick to avoid these foods that you'd like to share. Please leave your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your insights could help so many others in our community. If this video has been helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps us reach more people who could benefit from this information. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more tips and practical advice to live your best life at every age.